You're not going to believe what just happened in rehearsal, Biggie. So
Wait, what? In what?
We're doing rehearsal.
Well, you were missed.
Okay, you were missed in rehearsal today.
Don't think the director didn't notice.
That's right. And,
We rehearsed this.
well, we had a America Inside the Numbers. Some great numbers here today. And there's several articles on different things we do for holidays and just all sorts of different number-related topics. And one of them was they've listed now the most and least obese states in America. So in rehearsal, I said to Chris Demm,
Just threw it out there.
just throw it out there. Well, they've listed the most obese states in America. And Chris Demm said,
Mississippi.
and I said, number 2. All right. And then he says, Kentucky. That's 3. So I said, that's 3. And then he said, Louisiana. That's 4.
Oh, wow. Yes, these would have been my same guesses.
Okay.
Right.
And then he says, Arkansas. That's 5.
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
And
But I'm missing one.
Okay. Then he's like, what? And so he goes,
What is one?
Tennessee. That's number 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then Chris Demm said, Alabama. Okay.
Yeah.
7. All right, that's
Oh, my God.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then Chris Demm said, I've covered the SEC.
Yeah.
What am I supposed
What is
to
left?
And by the way, those are all teams in the SEC. Mississippi, Kentucky, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama. And number 8 is Texas, and they're moving
They're
in next
moving.
year. They're moving
They're
in.
joining.
I didn't know Texas was that obese. I guess they are.
Yes.
Certain parts of
But
it.
what's the glaring error at number 1?
Number
What's-
1. So here's 2 through 8. Mississippi, Kentucky, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and Texas. Biggie, do you want to guess number 1?
Well, I've got 2 in mind.
All right.
I think they have Atlanta, though. They're healthier.
Well,
I'm torn between. I'll tell you what I'm torn between.
yeah.
West Virginia and Georgia.
Okay.
I'm going to go Georgia.
No.
Oh.
It is
Oh,
West
it is?
Virginia.
Okay.
West Virginia. Well, Chris Demm said Georgia, and I said they're not in the top 10. He's like, I've covered the SEC. You continue to do that. And then, by the way, number 9 is South Carolina.
Yeah.
Also in.
the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, South Carolina would have been my other. But they don't normally make the list, but it's always, for as long as I remember, it's always been Mississippi.
I know.
Well,
Now tell me where Oklahoma is, because they're joining the SEC
Right.
with Texas.
move over, Mississippi.
Okay.
There's a new sheriff in town.
It's West Virginia. They did not. Oklahoma did not make the top 10. I had the top 10 and the 10 least healthy, the 10 most obese, and the 10 least obese states, and they're in neither, so they're in between somewhere.
Okay.
The outlier on the top 10 is Delaware. They're 10th. And
I would have
up
never
in the-
got that.
up in the Northeast, but the rest of them are southern schools, southern states, and then West Virginia, which is number 1 for most obese. I don't think of them as that obese.
No.
In West Virginia.
No.
I watched the documentary 20 years ago, The Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
Yeah.
And it was about drug use.
Yeah, listen, of all the jokes, it's never obese.
It's not. No. Now they've got obesity the same way. What a beautiful state, by the way. I drove through it recently.
It is. It really is.
That's breathtaking.
Beautiful. I drove to New Jersey for Friday the 13th sleepaway camp.
But you didn't stop.
Nope, did not stop in West Virginia. Zipped right through it. Didn't stop till we got all the way to Pennsylvania. That's where we made camp for the night, the first night, and stopped for gas and stuff. But the mountains of West Virginia are absolutely beautiful.
If you drive through at the right time, it's unbelievably gorgeous.
It was early fall. It was wonderful. So they are the most obese state in America.
Well, they got fiestas at the Taco Bell. We know that.
Right, we know that. Apparently, Delaware has made the top 10 for the first time. Scrapple is to blame. So they say.
Scrapple, okay.
Number 1 selling Scrapple.
They still eat
state.
that?
Delaware is the number 1 state for buying Scrapple.
Oh,
and then Hawaii is the number 1 for Spam. But Hawaii is in the least obese states. They're down at like the 7th least obese.
Yeah,
Usually that's where you find Colorado, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're, that's right. They're in fact, Colorado is the least obese state. It's Vermont at 10, Montana at 9. The usual suspects here. Washington State. Minnesota did well. They are not. They're in the bottom 10. Utah, Colorado, the top 2.
Yeah.
As being least obese.
I've known a lot of fit people through my life who've moved to Colorado.
They love it there.
Yeah.
Hiking.
Exactly. People who love the outdoors. They're like, let me
hike
hit it.
anywhere.
I know you can, but people love to go to Colorado and hike the Rocky Mountains. Something about Colorado is very fit.
The snow, skiing,
Snowboarding.
Outdoorsy people. I've known a couple in my life who've said, I'm moving to Colorado.
They love Colorado. That's right. Yet, West Virginia has great skiing. And West Virginia has great whitewater rafting.
They do.
Chris, Tim, and I have done that, the whitewater rafting part. You'll recall the incidents that I've had whitewater rafting on the Upper Gauley and Lower Gauley River.
Yeah.
Even though that was when I was so desperate to fit in, even though I loathed the activity, I went along to be part of the crowd. And in the photographs, Chris, Tim can say, you really can tell. Everyone else's face is like, and
yeah, they don't tell you the first time you go rafting, but there's like one certain rapid. It's like the first big rapid on the run. And the rafting company stations a camera there, a really good camera, so they can capture everyone's face in mid-paddle. They're kind of flying over the white water.
Yeah.
And everyone's face is just overjoyed, and Kelly's face is like, get me the blank out of here.
They don't tell you that takes so long. It's like a 3-hour ride down the river. It takes forever. And I just wanted it to be done. I was so desperate to stay in the boat, in the raft. Remember, I threw poor Ronnie Alexander out of it. She was
Never forget.
She was a
Poor thing.
A
She was
colleague.
a smaller female.
Talk about fit. She's in great shape.
She's
Always
very fit,
has been. She used to work here, and she went on that trip. Again, I was desperate to fit in. And I did just basically, we saw a rapid coming and I held on for dear life. And as we were going over the rapid, in order to get my own balance, I pushed on her. Down she went.
They always say whatever you do, and the guides are almost always say the same thing. You must keep paddling. And in every picture, Kelly's got his paddle up in his hands like,
I can't. I can't do it. I cannot paddle through it. It was too difficult for me. America inside the numbers. Is there a Christmas tree shortage looming across America? The answer, no. But some farms are having to close because of lack of supply. Drought over the last 7 to 10 years. It takes 7 to 10 years to grow a Christmas tree.
I thought you were going to say because they've gotten so expensive.
No, they're saying that that there are certain spots, certain pockets of America where Christmas trees are not coming in as they have been. And so a couple of Christmas tree farmers are saying, we just don't have them this year.
First trailer load of trees would come in. These bins would be full with trees, various sizes, and you can see there are no trees here. We didn't want to open just partial and have people come in and be disappointed. We felt the right decision was to close the farm this year, let the field get a little bit bigger, give us time to source some trees for next year.
That's up in upstate New York, and they could not get the trees in this year.
Does that mean you lose all of your income for a season?
I guess
a
it
year?
does. I mean, if they're closing for the year. Apparently, they're blaming droughts, wildfires have knocked out some trees that are grown, climate change, and just the need for time to restock. And more people have gone back to, I guess, live trees over the last 20 years than artificial trees, so there's more demand, and they're saying this year. And prices are up generally, right? They're higher than you.
Maybe it's just the way it's gone, but I swear the last couple of years, everyone's saying, I'm sure we'll have a report that Christmas tree prices are up.
Yes, maybe I think you're probably right. That seems to happen. I got a shrinkflation report's going to hit you right in the wallet, too. Yeah, bite you well, woo. That's a big one. I got some shrinkflation.
Will you be dragging up your tree the weekend after Thanksgiving, Kelly?
Yes. And Thanksgiving's early this year. Okay?
Yeah.
It is. It's November 23rd. It's next Thursday. I mean, we're 10 days away from Thanksgiving and 9 days away from Thanksgiving. And we're going to drag it out of the garage and put the tree up. Maybe not the day after, but definitely, like I say, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. My daughter is demanding it. She's so into Christmas and Christmas music. She loves it. I mean, I don't like it this early, as you know. I've stood my ground on that, and I'll die on that hill.
Yeah.
I don't like Christmas music this early, but I'm driving with my daughter now. She's practicing. She's got to get 50 hours of driving. We did another hour and a half last night.
Wow, you're knocking it out.
We were all over town last night, and she likes Christmas music, and I do allow it while we're in the car. And try as I might, I can't keep from tapping my foot.
Doggone it.
I don't want to let it seep in, but here it is coming in even 6 weeks before Christmas.
I think when I was learning to drive, learner's permit time, because the licenses are different now, but when I was learning to drive, you had a learner's for 4 months. And you had to have a licensed driver with you. Didn't have to be your parent.
Right.
It could be someone who turned 16 a month ago.
Yeah, I don't know that it has to be parent now. It might.
I thought it was just an over 18 driver or over 21 driver.
I've got my log here, and I can look because it's when you fill it out, it says what relation. Who are you? And it says parent or parent designee. So I bet you have to be over 18 or over 20. But we're never going to trust anybody but us.
When I was learning, we kept the radio off.
Yeah.
There was no music. And of course, once the parent's out of the car, radio on.
Oh, yeah.
You know what my daughter has done, and we've gotten out on the big roads now a little bit, a couple of times, and she likes the Christmas music to be on, but when it gets a little crowded, a little hairy out, she turns it down. I get it. She goes over, which What
would you say are her early strengths, early weaknesses, areas to focus on?
I think she's good in almost every area. She seems to remain calm. Her stopping at a stoplight is kind of on a dime. Sometimes I think
not as gradual as it could be.
It needs to be more gradual because every time we stop, it's one of those where you kind of
a jerk.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's. Oh, it's all women.
Biggie, see,
you're really not supposed to.
I'm just saying she's not going to grow out.
I keep telling her she's going to grow out of that.
No, that's never ridden with a woman.
Mr. Biggie says you can't break anyway.
How interesting that you say that, because she does do that almost every stoplight, and I'll turn to her and say, "You see, you don't want that. You want a very gradual." And she goes, "I'm just determined that's impossible." She said that to me. She's like, "I just don't believe that.
It's fine."
I don't believe that's possible. I said, I think it is possible." And she's got a little bit of a lead foot. She will get going pretty quickly.
She inherited that from her daddy.
Yeah, well, a little bit.
That comes natural in the Kelly family.
Of a lead foot. I was surprised to see that. She's early. She would do things like when she turned, let's say, left onto a street, she'd go too far left and be in the oncoming traffic lane and then have to whip back over. But she's done well with that. That just took a little practice, and now she's got that going pretty well. It's pretty good, I have to say. I think I think she's even or a little better than my son was at this time. He was more scared. Now, he was slower, and he was more scared of it.
I ended up next to a student driver yesterday.
We have our magnet on our car, by the way. Yes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, there's a magnet that says, "Student driver, please be patient." Which is nice. Yeah.
Well, this was the old school. Like, this had a big sign on top. Probably a private company, but I looked over, and that guy in there, and he was probably, I'd say late teens, early 20s. Mm-hmm. He looked absolutely terrified behind the wheel. I mean, he was up on it with the 10 and 2.
Yeah.
And he just looked, and the light turned green, and everybody went. He just slowly started.
Oh, I know.
He looked absolutely terrified.
She's a little more comfortable, my daughter, than I thought she would be. I mean, early she was scared, but now every day she comes home, can we drive? My son never did that. He was so frightened of it, but she's wanting it now. So, we're out there doing. Last night I brought her down here. It was a trip all the way down to downtown to the radio station.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I pointed at the door and said, "Daddy's going to walk through that door in 12 hours." It was 6 o'clock. I said, there's the studio. I said, "Daddy's going to be in the studio in 12 hours."
Now, when we turn this corner, I want you to double check your locks.
Ain't that?
This is where you'll see people sleeping on blankets.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Why is the fence so high?
Yeah. Why is there razor wire at the top of that fence?
Daddy asked for it.
Daddy said we needed that.
Daddy got scared one day.
One weakness she has is when she's changing lanes, to check the blind spot, which is hard.
It is.
Yeah, that's just learned over time.
Yeah, because she'll either not do it or look real quick, or if she looks even a beat too long, suddenly you're drifting.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing.
I'm glad she's doing that. That seems to be a lost art as I drive.
To check the blind spot?
Yeah. Now I swear people just come now.
I know.
Move.
Yeah. Last night we were practicing in her mother's car, and it has a backup camera. Mine does not. Okay. Mine doesn't have it.
No.
But and maybe you all can speak to this. I'm of the old way where you need, as you're backing out of, like, I had her back out of the garage last night, and then she parked and backed up out of a parking lot. And I think you should look over your shoulder, use mirrors and shoulder, but she mostly uses the camera. And maybe that's okay, now that there's...
Well, I have the backup. I think most people have it now.
Okay. I think he needs to. I think he needs to.
No,
as a toad.
That's accurate.
There's a tone.
There was a tone, but accuracy overrules.
Yeah.
There's a tone to that. There's a tone to when you say.
Yeah, I'll see the tone, but I'll raise him accuracy.
Okay.
All right. So,
but I still, maybe it's just because of the age. I didn't have backup cameras when I started. I'll use that, but I'll still look.
I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I think you need to look and check the camera also.
Because you can't see the side coming. You know, if you're backing out of a space at a shopping center. Pedestrian comes, some car's flying, the camera's not going to catch that till it's too late.
I do. My wife uses the camera. I mean, she just stares.
I use the camera 90% of the time because ours have like a warning indicator if someone's coming left or right behind you.
My car doesn't have a warning indicator. And I've seen some cars.
Your car just has dents.
Yeah, that's right. And I've seen some cars that have, and yours probably has this, when you back up, not only does it have the camera, it has like a little tracking guide to show you.
Oh,
you know,
Child's play. Yeah.
Old-fashioned way, right?
Pretty soon, your daughter may grow up in a world like when she gets her first, when she buys her first car.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the one that automatically parallel parks itself.
Well, last night.
I mean, that's a thing.
We were downtown, and I said, "You want to try parallel parking?" She said, "Oh, no. She doesn't want anything to do with parallel."
It's amazing how that gets in people's head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love parallel parking.
Do you?
Yeah, I've always been good at it.
I'm pretty good at it, too, so I don't mind it.
No.
You know?
A Brady Bunch style park off?
Woo! Well, if you
bring it.
Yeah.
Somebody get the egg. Let's do this. Get a raw egg.
You two.
Let's go out and go.
Now, you need to be in a neutral car.
Yeah.
We'll use my car.
Ooh.
We'll use my car. That's just fine. We'll see how it goes.
I've always loved parallel parking. I think it's fun. A challenge.
Really? It is a challenge.
Especially if it's like a downtown area that's busy. If you can get up there and get in a space and whip around real quick, nothing like it.
This one doesn't apply to Kelly, but Biggie, do you ever parallel park with a stick shift?
No, I've never done that.
That is a challenge.
I couldn't imagine that, yeah.
Rocking back and forward.
Oh, yeah. When I first parallel parked, I was scared of it. I thought it was difficult. I never wanted to do it. One day in my mid-20s, I said, by God, I'm conquering this fear. I'm doing it. And I did it just as the old Coach Hatcher had taught me back in my high school days. And I did it. And from that point on, I said, I shall parallel park.
You know what the common mistake is? People try to pull in.
You can't do it.
No.
Go straight in. You cannot do that.
You see people do that all the time. You're like, it's never going to work.
No, it doesn't work.
No.
It's terrible. You got your ass hanging out there. I didn't use that language. I know.
Think of Coach Hatcher.
He probably used that language. Look at him. He's got his ass hanging out there.
Hatch. God, he was great. Loved him. He was a football coach.
Yeah.
He was a football coach.
Yeah, they stick them all in driver's ed.
Oh, yeah, right.
We had Coach Wilson. He was like offensive line coach.
Yeah. Coach Hatcher was the head coach at that time, and he was the driver's ed teacher. And he never liked me because I was too soft to be on offensive line. He wanted me on offensive line because
as big as you are,
big body. He's like, big as you are, you ought to be on my offensive line. I said, Coach, I'm doing barbecue after school.
I'm in Glee.
Yeah, I'm in Glee Club. He goes, big old boy like you in Glee Club? Ah, damn. All right. You got your ass hanging out there. Let's go. Let's do this. Yeah.
You know, my driver's ed teacher was not a teacher at the school. He was from somewhere else. But when he was a teenager, he was hit by a train in a car.
Wow.
Whoa. He survived. Like I guess the back end, he tried to beat the train.
Oh, my goodness.
But it almost kind of became the sole focus of driver's ed. When he would teach you, everything was, you see train tracks, you'd be like, train tracks. You're like, we're not even near them, boss. They're running, 400 yards that way.
Yeah, he's still working through his issues.
Oh, yeah. Very much so. And even in the class he was teaching, he'd always mention, he'd be like, what do we look out for? Train tracks.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's no one around.
That's life experience. That's the life experience that he brought to it. One more America Inside the Numbers. It's out now. America's favorite pie flavor. Biggie, you want in on this? What's America's favorite pie flavor? And it did not say for Thanksgiving.
This is overall.
It's overall. Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to go the good old apple pie.
Got to be apple overall.
By far. 34 states chose apple pie as its favorite pie and dominated across all of America. Now, 14% then said pumpkin pie. Maybe it was for Thanksgiving, but they said pumpkin pie next. And only 2 states went differently. Mississippi went for sweet potato pie, which I prefer over pumpkin myself.
Okay.
Did pecan make any inroads?
Zero. Not one state. Hawaii was...
Pecan man's not going to like that.
Oh, Oh God, I shouldn't have brought that up to Pecan.
Yeah,
Pecan Man.
That.
Pecan Man.
He's gonna email us.
Oh God.
Here they come. He's typing right now.
Oh geez. Pecan Man. You know how Pecan Man loves everything pecan.
Everything.
If you ever mention any other nut or legume of any kind, he's no sir.
Where's the love for the pecan?
Where's the love for it? That's right. I love a pecan pie.
Me too.
I think they're great. And we will have one on the table. We always did growing up too. But pumpkin was second, apple, pumpkin, and then only 2 other states. Mississippi said sweet potato, and Hawaii seems to have their own pie. It's called hupia pie or haupia, Haupia, hupia pie. I don't know what that is. That's a Hawaiian dish.
Oh.
So they're the only 2. But honestly, I don't love apple pie. I just think it's okay.
Good apple pie is amazing.
I've never if there's pumpkin, sweet potato, and apple, I would go sweet potato, then pumpkin, then apple pie. I wouldn't get
warm apple pie with ice cream, a little bit of cinnamon.
I mean, I like it.
It.
But I'd almost go cherry. I love
a cherry pie.
I do. I like a cherry pie. I do.
Second tier.
I like it. I would almost go cherry.
Second tier. I'll take a hupia pie. Or whatever it is that they have in Hawaii.
A hupia pie. You ever had a hupia pie, Biggie?
No.
I don't know what that is. I have never had it. Sweet potato is the best one on this list. I love a sweet potato pie. Love it.
Oh, key lime pie. That might be my favorite.
Key lime pie is very good.
You can't serve it at Thanksgiving, but it's amazing.
I don't love lemon meringue. I'm not a huge lemon meringue pie.
Chess.
Oh, God. That's my favorite. Chocolate chess pie. I love.
Cream pie.
Did I give you my factoid on chess pie? This is a dude. What'd you say?
What? This is a coconut cream pie.
I like coconut cream pie.
Second tier.
I like coconut cream pie a lot. Did I give you my factoid on chess pie? It's really more of an anecdote than a factoid. Well, I'm not going to share it with you now. It's too good. It's too good.